All right. So before we get started, it'd be kind of interesting to see who's getting snow, who's not getting snow, or just some crazy wild temperatures. So post your temperature in the chat, and we're gonna temperature in your city in the chat, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. So today we have a special guest, Clay Reynolds. He is a principal product manager here at ZoomInfo. Today's topic is maximizing sales engagement with ZoomInfo Copilot, a day in the life. And by the way, I'm Chris Detzel. I'm the senior community manager. If we could go to the next slide. So if you haven't joined our Slack community and you're able to join the Slack community, posting it there and please join. And so what we like to do during these sessions is have, a lot of people have a lot of questions or some questions, and we'd like you to go to the 07ZI product copilot, ask your questions there if possible. If you remember, I'll be posting a reminder here shortly or kind of during the session. So yeah, join there. We always have lots of really cool stuff on the modern go-to-market Slack community. This is going to be recorded. I'll also post that, and I'll be emailing every single person that's on this webinar. So just so you know. And next slide. In addition to this session, I try to do these twice a month. Didn't get a second one this month because New Year's and all that other stuff, but we do have a couple coming up next month, and one is account-based marketing, a deep dive into maximizing ROI with ZoomInfo. That's on the 20th on Thursday. And then on Wednesday, 2/26, we'll have AI-driven alignment, bridging sales and marketing with ZoomInfo. So giving you all the access to all the experts is always a fun thing to do. And so that's all I have, Clay. I'm going to let you go ahead and get started and kick it off.
Awesome. Well, yeah, nice to meet everybody. Again, I'm Clay. I'm a product manager here. I work on pretty much everything I'm about to show you. So any questions you have, feel free to pop them in. I also have Jesse here, who's the best product marketer around, who can help answer the questions as we go. I'm going to start with the safe harbor statement. If you've never seen this before, it's basically just don't make investment decisions based on what I say. Because I work in products, I'm probably going to say some things about things that are upcoming or in the future. We can talk about those, we can discuss those, but yeah, a little safe harbor statement. And this is the very last slide. I do not like slides, so we're going to jump right into the product after this. My main goal is to walk through many of the AI features and capabilities within ZoomInfo Copilot. We'll talk through how we can use these to maximize specifically our engagements with customers, whether that's writing an email, making a phone call, doing account research, or jumping onto a meeting. We're going to go through a good bit. So just quickly going to start in the admin portal. So I know not everybody here is an admin. I'll spend 5 or 6 minutes there going through how admins can set sellers up for success with Copilot. If you're an admin, great, you can go do that today. If you're not an admin, now you'll know what you can bug your admins to do. Once we get past that, I'll jump into what a seller is doing on the homepage, how they're able to take advantage of target accounts, how they're able to take advantage of the white space that we have, how they can use the AI emailer, talking points, and our dialer. And then when they want to do research on a particular account, how they can use important to know and the account AI and chat functionalities that we have. Ideally, this is going to take around 25 minutes or so, which leaves plenty of room for Q&A. As Chris said, ask questions throughout. That's perfectly fine. I can take pauses and answer them, or if I see one that is very obvious, I said something bad, then I'll stop and address it then. But I'll jump right into it now and bring you to the admin portal. So the reason I wanted to start in the admin portal is setting your sellers up for success means there's way less stuff that an individual user has to do to actually get valuable insights and valuable information out of Copilot. And the first thing you can do to get them up and running is setting up their target accounts. So target accounts are used for so many things, starting from very simple. You can use it as a filter. I can filter down to just my target accounts, all the way up to we generate on a daily basis new insights and new signals for all of your target accounts. And we send you updates on those, either in the platform, we can send it to you on Slack or Teams, we can send it to you via email. You can even get these insights on the mobile app if you use the ZoomInfo mobile app. So setting up target accounts really gives your sellers a great way of getting these insights without having to go digging through a bunch of different pages and tabs. You can set it up using your CRM. So you can say, bring in companies where they're owners, bring in companies where they're opportunities owners. You can upload a list via CSV if you don't have a CRM connection. And you can even give your users permissions to build their own lists. So they can always manually add, like, oh, I want to follow this account. But you can actually say, hey, if you want to upload your own CSV, like you went to a conference and you got a CSV from them, upload all of them as target accounts. You can give them that capability as well. So you're able to set up all of these rules and all of these things. The CRM automatically updates every single day. Everything else is sort of manual and updates ad hoc whenever a user or admin does this. But really, getting your target accounts up and running is really, really important to making sure you're getting the right signals. The next thing I'm going to jump into is Account AI. Now, if you're following along as an admin and you don't see this, that's likely because you're not an enterprise customer. So this is an enterprise capability, but I'm going to go through it anyways because it really shows the true big value of ZoomInfo Copilot. So what Account AI is two distinct things. One, we call the account summary, and two is called Copilot Chat. The account summary is basically all known data in the ZoomInfo world about that particular organization. So it pulls in all of our third-party data that ZoomInfo has. So things we get from partners like G2, things we're pulling from earnings calls, things we're getting from intent or websites visits. We're pulling all of that in to the account summary. But what we're starting to do is we're pulling in all of this first-party data as well. So we're able to pull in information from your CRM, from Gong or Chorus, or your email if you connect your email. So we're taking in all of this third-party data that ZoomInfo has, all of this first-party data that you have, and we're turning it into sort of a 360-degree view of that particular account. And up until 2 months ago or so, this was a pretty rigid response. It's a big block of text, it's a lot of information, and you did not have any control over it. What we released in the fall and what we're continuing to release in the next couple of weeks is more customization controls over this. So the customization you have right now is on the engagement data. So things coming from your email or phone calls you make or the meeting recordings that you have. What you can do is you can actually build these custom sections to get the insights that you want out of it. So you can do simple things like, oh, I want to use Medic, get me the decision criteria for Medic. And we've built these out of the box so you can just run with it. But what you can also do is you can just create your own. So tell me any rapport building topics I should bring up. And it's going to actually do that. It's going to create a section. It's going to go through all the engagements, emails, calls, etc. And it's going to create a section that has rapport building topics. And so you can create up to 7 of these for now. I'm sure we'll expand it in the future, but you can just easily create your own here. So I'll copy and paste one in, and you can see what it's going to look like when you go to it. So for this particular account in our demo org, I asked it, are there any key themes that we should be aware of? Are there any opportunities that we are missing? And so it created 2 sections for me. It created a key themes section where it's going through all of the emails, all the calls, and it's seeing are there things that keep coming up. So multiple interactions, there are recurring discussions. And then finally, it's going to give me opportunities. So here are a couple of opportunities we've seen based on the engagements that we have. And so I can adjust it. I can change it. I can see the preview again. I can try a different thing. I can ask it to give me a table and so on. So I can keep adjusting this prompt until I get the output that I want. And once I save it, what it's going to do is the next time the account summary runs for every account, it's going to use that new information. So you really get to get full control over kind of what this account summary looks at, what data it provides, and what insights it's giving to your sellers. And then finally, CRM fields. So it seems fairly minor, but if you have these custom fields that you want to bring in, you want your sellers to see every time they view an account, you can pull in these custom fields. For example, ZoomInfo, we bring in fields about product usage. We bring in fields about contract values and users, things like that, that a seller can quickly see, oh, this is a large customer, a lot of users, very low product usage. Let's jump in, let's do X, Y, and Z. And you can do that for both account and opportunity objects there. And so that's the account AI, the account summaries, and how to build that out. The final thing I'll go over for admins is offerings. Now, an offering is used across the platform. It's used in the emailer. It's used in the dialer. It's used on the company profile for important to know. And it's going to be used in chat. And so across all of this platform, these offerings exist. Now, an offering is very simple. It's what are you selling? That's basically all we're really looking for. What do you sell? And so if you're a small business that's selling one particular thing, you might only have one offering, and you're just going to give the name of the offering. What pain points do you solve? What value proposition do you solve? Or do you have to solve that problem? And when you save this, ZoomInfo now knows what you sell in a pretty detailed way. And there's a couple of links, and Jesse might be best to send this in the chat. One is going over what I just went over, which is how to use that, like create an offering and how to use it. And the other is best practices around creating an offering. And so following these best practices, if you make it detailed, if you make it descriptive, it's going to be really, really valuable. Yeah, there we go. It's going to be really, really valuable. It's going to generate better emails. It's going to generate better talking points. It's going to generate better insights for you. And so creating these offerings is really useful. And the reason why it's extra useful for an admin to do it is because every one of your users is going to have access to what you create. So even though your users, and I'll show this as well, your users can create their own offerings. If an admin creates them, they get it out of the box. They're up and running as soon as they get there. So that's what I want to show for the admin, the target accounts, the account AI, and the offerings. Now I'm going to jump into what does this actually look like for a user when they log, or a seller when they log into ZoomInfo. So when you log into ZoomInfo, if you're a seller, you're hopefully seeing a page like this. This is the Copilot homepage. If you don't see a page like this, you can ask it in the Q&A, and we can kind of go over what that might be. But hopefully you're seeing a page like this, which is the Copilot homepage. And what this is doing is it's giving you up to 3 different pieces or different cohorts of accounts. It's giving you your top updates, which is pulling from your target accounts. And it's saying, these are the most relevant companies we think you should reach out to today. It's pulling your target accounts up to 50, I think, additional companies. So you're going to be able to scroll through all of these accounts and see at a glance all of these insights for each of those accounts. And finally, it's going to give you white space. White space are companies that do not exist in your CRM. They are not target accounts. They're companies that we think you don't necessarily know about, but based on your current customers, based on companies you're viewing, we think you should be interested in these companies as well. But the great thing about the homepage is it's all available at a glance. So I can quickly see, what do I care about most? Is there anything I'm overly interested in driving and reaching out to? So as I scroll through, I can look at Logitech. And one thing I've always heard in interviews and sellers always talk about, and when I was in sales, I always looked at was earnings calls. Those earnings calls and the transcripts, those quarterly reports, they have a wealth of information. And so what we do is we're trying to show you relevant scoops from these earnings calls. And I can see one here for Logitech. So in this one, they face competition both domestically and internationally. They have large competitors with significant market share. They're having problems with failure to gain market acceptance of new products. That sounds like something that ZoomInfo potentially could sell, potentially could address. And so I can keep going through. I can see, all right, they're also researching with intent very similar topics. So this is top of mind to them. And a buyer, a VP of product marketing, has been on our website viewing a high ranked page. And I can even see what page or pages. So why ZoomInfo, our enterprise solution, what pages this particular buyer is viewing. So now I look at this, it seems like David's someone I should reach out to. It seemed like Logitech is someone I should reach out to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and see, are there any recommended actions that we should do? Well, I can add it to a CRM, both the account and David Lehman. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to David first and foremost. And so I have David here. I can email, I can call, or I can get a link directly to David's LinkedIn. I generally, probably because the way I was taught 15 years ago, I like to make a call first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the phone icon. And in ZoomInfo, regardless of whether you're going to use the ZoomInfo dialer, you do not need to use our dialer. We're going to do this prep for your call. We call it talking points. And what it's doing is it's reading through all the information we know about Logitech, all the information we know about David, and all the offerings that I have access to. So all the offerings I've created, all the offerings my admins have created, and it's creating these talking points for me. So I can see through at a glance, okay, new VP GTM hire, maybe they're going to try a different strategy refresh. Okay. Marketing VP role, maybe needs marketing insights. Okay. But the earnings call is really the one I thought was the most relevant. So again, it's going to go through. This is the issue from the earnings call. These are the offerings that we think you should focus on. Pipeline and marketing OS offerings will help them identify and target high value market segments more effectively. So it's giving me it's telling me based on what we know, this is what you should pitch to this particular person. Now I can call them right now using the Copilot dialer. That's going to immediately pop up. I can call them easy. I can log that call if I need to log that call. It's going to push back to my CRM if my CRM is connected. Or I can just use another dialer. If I use Nooks or if I use Outreach or FrontSpan or any other dialer, my Avaya phone in front of me, I can just use that to make the call to David as well. So let's assume I called David, left a voicemail, no pickup. I like following up with an email. What I can do is I can click this nice purple email icon, and it's going to start generating an email for me. And so it's picking up the insights that we think, it's picking up the insights that actually generate the best emails, and it's going to select the first one automatically. Now, I like the earnings call one, so I'm going to select the earnings call one. And I can add additional context if I want to. So it added introduce yourself. I don't want to introduce myself. I kind of want to jump straight into it. So I'm going to select earnings call. It mentioned pipeline and marketing OS as the two. I'm going to stick with pipeline, but I can change the offering if I want to. So for example, if talking points said, oh, try data cubes, maybe I'll switch to data cubes. And it's the same thing. I can always edit these pain points and value props if I want to, if I need to. I want to add a little bit more detail, 200 more characters to add a little bit more detail. But I can go ahead and I can draft again, now using the earnings call information to generate that email. And so we're going to see the email. I noticed they face challenges in gaining market acceptance for new products, uncertain total TAM, make it difficult. Our pipeline platform does X, Y, and Z. And so it's using a lot of the language that we got in our insight. It's using a lot of that same exact language. It's using the same language from our offering, and it's writing an email for me. Now, maybe I want to tweak it. Maybe I want to try again, roll the dice and try again. Some people like very short emails, so you can shorten it. You might change the tone. The most, I think, confident and friendly. No one likes to use formal, but confident and friendly are pretty heavily used. You can change the tone, or if you just want to rewrite the subject, you don't want to expand your addressable market. You can rewrite it, and it's going to read the email and come up with a second option for you. But let's just say I've gone through. I've adjusted the email. I've told it I want to add a postscript, for example. I've adjusted the email and ready to send it. I now have a couple of options available to me, all based on what my integration setups are. So in this case, in this demo org, I'm connected to Outreach right now. So I can see I have this Outreach icon. I can just hit send now, and it's going to actually send this email through Outreach. So all logging, all reporting, everything is going to happen in Outreach there. So that's the system of record as my sales engagement tool. I can even schedule it for later. So right now it's 7:12 a.m. If you believe that emailing before 8 or calling before 8 is more likely to get a response, then maybe you keep it going. If you want to get them at 9 a.m. or 2 p.m. or something like that, you can schedule it for later. And now I can go ahead and I can send later. The other thing I can do with Outreach, though, is I can actually add it to a follow-up sequence. So within Outreach, I can say, I want to send this email. If I don't get a response within, let's say, 5 days, so by next Wednesday, if I don't get a response, then I want to add it to this particular sequence. And I can go ahead and I can start this flow right away. So it's going to send an email through Outreach, wait in Outreach, check to see if there's a response in Outreach. And if there's nothing, it's going to add it to a sequence. So no longer are things falling through the cracks. No longer do you have to do like generic templates for every email you're reaching out to these people. You can kind of continue doing multiple steps, multiple personalized steps before you get anywhere. Now, if you're a SalesLoft customer, you can also send through SalesLoft. The only difference here is SalesLoft does not have that add to follow-up functionality. So if you're a SalesLoft customer, please ask your CSMs, your sales reps, product managers you talk to over there, and push for it. We will build it as soon as we can for that. But it's the same thing. It's going to send the email through SalesLoft, all tracking managed through SalesLoft. And then the final thing is you don't have outreach, you don't have sales loft, just use ZoomInfo. So you could copy it, you could go to Gmail or Outlook and paste it in and then send it. But if you have Gmail or you have Office 365, you can connect those through ZoomInfo and send directly from here. So I can hit send later right now. It's going to schedule that email, and you can go to scheduled emails to see it. And then all of that activity, whether they open the email, click the email, I can track opens and clicks and stuff like that. All of that is going to be tracked inside of ZoomInfo. You'll see it on the contact profile, you'll see it on the account profile, all of it's going to be available to you and your teammates to see, they emailed them, oh, they got this response, oh, they opened these emails. All of that lives and breathes inside of ZoomInfo, and we push it to your CRM as well. Now with ZoomInfo, if you're connected, what we also do is give you the ability to add a follow-up. So a follow-up is exactly what it sounds like. It's a second email that gets sent if we don't get a reply. So similar to outreach, except instead of a full sequence, it's just a second email. Now it's only 2 right now, so first email and 1 follow-up, but in the next month or 2, we're going to be adding in the ability to add multiple follow-ups. So you can kind of create an ad hoc sequence on the fly that's personalized to a specific contact. That way you can just, you have 5 emails over the course of 2 months going out to that particular contact. So I'm going to start this. I have 2 emails. I'll start it. And David is now in a mini sequence of sorts flowing automatically through the ZoomInfo platform. But I like multi-threading. Logitech is not a small company. But I really want to get in there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the buying group here. Now, if you've never set up a buying group and you have Copilot, we have AI generated ones, but a buying group is just basically a quick filter to get the contacts that matter most to you. So in this case, I have sales and marketing decision makers. That's generally going to be like a director or a VP and up for these two job functions. There's 646, not going to go through all of them. What I do is filter down to likely to engage. Likely to engage is exactly what it sounds like. We have third-party partners, we have all this data, and we know that Joseph, for example, is more likely to respond via email. That's what this fire icon means over the email, than the average user or the average contact. And you can scroll through, you can see some of them. Craig is more likely to pick up his mobile device. And there should be an office phone one, but they have the office phone. They're more likely to pick up their office phone. And so you can quickly see, oh, I should call Craig, but maybe I should email Joseph. So I don't want to email Joseph and then have to close it out, go to Wendy, close it out. So I'm just going to select a couple of them. And I can open all of them in the emailer at once. And it's going to generate emails for all 3. Now, what's different about this than an outreach or SalesLoft or even ZoomInfo Engage is we're not using a template. We're not doing the same email for every single person. You can see the email is changing. The subject line is changing. Based on their title, based on what they do, we're going to do something different every single time. And so I can quickly and easily say, okay, Joseph, I want to add a follow-up, send. Wendy, add a follow-up, send. Kimberly, add a follow-up, send, and kind of blast through all of these emails pretty quickly at a personalized way. This does 2 things. One, it increases your chances of getting a reply because the email is tailored to that person, as opposed to, you can kind of tell if an email is generic. The second thing is when you're sending a template to a large company like Logitech, I'm emailing 20 people at Logitech today. If I send them all the exact same email, their spam filters, their security systems, they're going to know that it's the template. They're going to know that it's the same. They're going to know that it's spam. So they're more likely to be caught in a filter than if you're sending more personalized emails. So it should have a small boost in deliverability theoretically there. So now I can send those emails. I'm good to go. I've done Logitech. I can jump through other accounts if I want to. I can go to Whitespace if I want to. Again, Whitespace are the companies that we don't know about. You're going to be able to filter out. So, I am in Massachusetts. My territory is New England. I'm a GEM rep, so my industries are government, education, and medical. That's really it. That's what I need. I don't care about Integrion. They're illegal. That's not in my jurisdiction. But when I get it filtered down to what I need, it's the same thing. We're generating these signals for accounts you don't know about that we think you should know about. It's like you want to deal in a similar account. Your colleague want to deal with a competitor or a similar company of theirs. Easy email. Hey, we just closed business with CrowdStrike. You interested? Phrase better than that. But great. So now that's my engagement. I'm good to go. Now I'm looking at my calendar. It's 11:26. I have a meeting coming up at 11:30 with a company called Bruker. It's been a while since I talked to Bruker, so I'm going to try and, catch myself up as much as I can here. So I get to their page. I can see this important to know section. Now, this is very, very similar to talking points. It's using my offerings to say, this is probably what you should focus on. So like our data cubes and operations solutions could help do X, Y, and Z. Marketing OS could do X, Y, and Z. APIs and data and automation could do this. So it's giving me things I potentially can focus on and really just kind of get a quick glance, like a 2-minute read through to get all this information. But if I want to take a deeper dive, if I want to really truly jump into things, what I can do is I can go to Account AI. Let me jump into it. And so the Account AI tab is what I was talking about at the beginning in the admin portal, which is that huge 360-degree view data dump about everything we know about this company. And so I'll do a quick scroll through so you can see that there is a ton of data that we have here. And it's a mixture of information that we know from our partnerships, information that you've provided from your CRM. So like you can see upcoming deals. There's no upcoming deals. You have no upcoming deals. Patrick Dempsey is the owner. So we're pulling from the CRM. We're pulling from, in this case, Chorus. We're pulling information about, these calls with Chorus, emails with Chorus. And so it's all this information. I can jump around if I want to. I don't have to read the whole thing. I don't have to download it as a PDF and send it off if I don't want to. But for example, we talk about rapport building, that section. I'm hopping on a call. Rapport building is probably pretty important. Let me read through these real quick and make sure I understand it. And so I can jump through those custom sections that were built and read through them. What I want to do is I want to just quickly prepare for this meeting that's coming up. So I'm going to hit the prepare for meeting prompt. And what it's going to do is it's going to read through all of this. And it's going to pick out what it thinks is the most relevant information for a meeting based on what we know. So in this case, there's no upcoming deals. So not a customer, no upcoming deals. We're likely pitching them something. So it's going to talk about their current business focus, pain points that they have, recent conversations, if there's any. It's also going to source where it's getting that information from. So like company overview, it's up in Bill Ricca, a little ways from me right now. And it's going to give me the source of all of this information. It's going to tell me, oh, this is what we think you should focus on. But there's a lot of information here, and maybe I know that we have Break Room Banter, for example. So Break Room Banter is a third-party provider for ZoomInfo data. And what they do is they interview competitors, customers, industry experts, and current and former employees of these companies. So in this case of Bruker, they're interviewing all of these people, and they're giving us those insights to share. So what I can do is I can say, are there any, I'm going to copy and paste it because I don't want to type. I even have a spelling error in the copy and paste. Are there any insights from Break Room Banter earnings call that would indicate they have problems with go to market? So if I click that here, it's going to bring me down and I can see, yes, there are relevant insights. And so it's going to show me, okay, in the industry experts, these are things the industry experts think they have issues. They have a smaller sales force. They're using limited resources. They have bad sales collateral potentially. That's what industry experts are saying. So like smaller sales force, limited personnel, we can work with that. That's something we can help with. From customers of theirs, this is, they're less flexible in service contracts. Maybe not something we can help. Service and maintenance restrictions, maybe not something that helps. These are probably things we can't really get too much on. Sales cycle concerns. This is from the earnings call now. So they're experiencing longer sales cycles in China. Is there something we can do about that? So all of this information here, it's going to give me some recommended questions. But what I want to know, I'm about to hop on the call, I'm a minute late. Are there any open-ended questions to ask to get those pain points as discussions? So it's going to go through all those pain points, and it's going to give me a list of questions that I can ask. So quickly and easily I can see, okay, what's your vision for scaling as you expand to new markets? Growing customer base in new regions, et cetera. And so it's going to give me kind of a quick, all right, I can ask one of these questions. It's going to come with a little bit of research behind it, and it's going to make it very obvious that I've done this research, and hopefully it'll lead to a discussion that we can then dive into. And I can keep asking as many of these questions as I want, and have it write me emails that are specific to these pain points and all of that stuff. So it's really a great tool to dive deeper into things. And so that's how we can use engagement throughout the web platform. On the other side, though, all of this stuff is available everywhere that ZoomInfo works. So I'm in LinkedIn right now. I can open up our Chrome extension, and all of this is going to work in the Chrome extension. So I can see the signals for this particular account. This is ZoomInfo, so we don't not as great a choice for this here. But I can find the buying group. I can email them. I can call them. I can see those talking points. I can even pull up the chat and chat with the account summary. So I can see all of this information. I can get that same free meeting brief. I can get that same list of questions straight from ReachOut. If you use the mobile app, you can get the chat on the mobile app as well. You can't email or dial there yet, but you can chat on the mobile app. Salesforce native app, Dynamics native app. We're adding it to wherever ZoomInfo exists, ZoomInfo works. We're trying to make it available to you because we know not everybody logs into the platform. I'm sure there are some of you on this call that only use ReachOut, only use our Chrome extension. So we're trying to make it so that all of this stuff, all of these functionalities, all these capabilities are available. So no matter where you work, no matter how you work, you're going to be able to take advantage of the power that Copilot provides. So I'll stop there. I was 26 minutes or so, 27 minutes, so a little over, but we can dive deeper into any topics you think you want me to dive into. I see a bunch of questions coming in. So any questions, Q&A, things you want me to dive into, by all means, share it, and I would dive deeper into those particular sections.
Yeah, right now, Clay, every question has been answered, it looks like. So Jess has been really great.
I shouldn't have invited Jesse. Jesse takes the fun out of it for me.
Yeah.
Clay, we did have one question about the number of fields that you can add into Account AI from the company and deal objects in HubSpot. Do you know if there's a limit to that?
You're on mute.
Let me look it up. I think we do have a limit.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'll get that. All right, there is a question. I'm going to steal from Jesse. Is there any capability to automate these AI emails? Say for MQLs we cannot get to quick enough. So today there is not, but that is what we are trying to drive towards. So with the AI emailer right now, the main focus for the first version, which is what it is, was prospecting emails. That's what a lot of people are using ZoomInfo for, is that we're going to get prospecting emails. What we're looking at building out is kind of two separate things now. One is we want to make it so that it can do full cycle emails. Over the next year, what we want it to be able to do is reply to emails, generate a reply, draft a reply. We want it to be able to do, post meeting emails. We want it to be able to do, a renewal is coming up. Here's what you should say. So really helping throughout the full sales cycle. And then the second thing we want to do is we want to make it so that this can happen automatically. Either automatically in the sense that you completely trust us and the AI and sends it out, or automatically in the sense that you trust us, but you want to review it first. You want to have a human in the loop. So we'll draft it for you and give you kind of a place to kind of view it and see it. So those are kind of directions we're going. So Isabel, I might send you an email and ask for time to talk through that use case with you, because this is very top of mind, and would love to hear your thoughts. And same with anyone. If anyone wants to chat about anything, has ideas, complaints, this is all valuable information, and we really take it to heart. So yeah, it is on the plan to do more automation through these.
Great. Any other questions? Well, we'll see if some questions come in, Clay, but before you leave, or actually when you leave and get out of the Zoom, you'll get a pop-up that asks for surveys. We would love to get your feedback because that's really helpful. So that's one. And then two, we have a couple of other expert exchanges coming up in the next month, actually. So make sure you check those out. And from there, I think that's it. Anything else, Clay?
No, just reiterating, feel free to reach out to me. I'm on that Slack, so feel free to direct message me on that Slack. My email, I'll put it in the chat, clay.reynolds@zoominfo.com. We love questions. We love chatting with customers and users. If I'm not the person to talk to, I know who is, because I meet with all the product managers every single day and every single week. Feel free to reach out anytime, any questions, and we'll get you in touch with the right people. But yeah, love chatting, love hearing your thoughts and ideas.
Great. Well, if you want to keep the conversation going, make sure to join the Modern Go-to-Market community. Ask your questions there. And if there's something that's there for Clay, I'll make sure that we'll get an answer for you. Thanks, everyone. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.